Hi, good day all. Asa from Creative Fairy Designs. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to remake this envelope into a fabric cover journal, junk journal. And I'll just do a quick flip through to show you what it looks like and then we will get started. For this I have used dusty rose fabric. It's a thick linen type fabric. I've attached lace and this is a closure vintage button, some tiny charms and a bit of mesh around our cover. So it opens out like this. And this is the inside. I have used printables for mine. You are free to add your envelopes, recycle envelopes, music sheets, index cards, etc. I didn't use any in this, but of course it's a big part of junk journal. I'm just showing you this designing process. And these are available free if you wish to have a copy so you can. I've used different sizes in my journal just to give it a bit of that flair and texture. And as we go along, we will be continuing with upcycle and recycle material. The rest of the journal, the decorating part, will be using mainly fabric and recycled paper. I try to make the journal on the cheap. I try to make it very thrifty. Even this paper, it's regular A4 paper. It's not cardstock because cardstock can be expensive. So just a quick flip through. We have nice pretty pages, and later on we're going to add pockets, fabrics, trimmings, everything that a journal has. And it's going to be one beautiful piece of work. So I hope you stay with me for this journaling journey. And there's a lots of journals. You can have a look at my other videos, and there are lots more journals to come. It's a variety of different mediums that have been used to get these printables. And this journal contains 2 signatures. I believe it's about 20 pages per signature, double-sided. And I didn't want to make it too chunky. 2 signatures is sufficient for a journal. And this is the back. And it closes like this. Wrap it around once, twice, bring this back, and wrap it around twice. So stay with me and let's create this beautiful journal. I'm going to do a quick flip through of all the pages in our signature that we are going to place for our journal. There's going to be 2 signatures. Firstly, these printables are not for sale. It is available free, so you can practice while we go along. To get this free, send me an email and indicate journal signatures. So I'll quickly do a flip through. And now we're going to cut around our journal pages. I'll use this one as an example. There is a border. Just cut all the white spaces, flip over. Same here, or you can cut it this side or this side. It doesn't really matter. But where the journal pages are, you flip it over and you can cut around the pattern side. And there's nothing to get worried about cutting or cutting out piece. This one the same. When you're cutting it, this is the pattern side and this is the journal page side. So cut it along the pattern side and nothing is going to get cut off. Okay, so now we're going to discuss the type of paper used for printing this signature. We have 2 signatures and you can choose any design you want. Like I said, if you are interested in these designs, send me an email. It's free. This is photo paper. The outside is photo paper. All the rest is printed on A4 paper. And the inside, I just chose one of the short patterns and printed it on photo paper. For the second signature, do the same photo paper on the outside, photo paper on the inside, and all the rest in regular printing paper. If you are using it for your personal use, printing paper is fine. The images is just as pretty. If you are using it for commercial use, I suggest you print all of them on photo paper. For second signature, we do the same. This is the image we printed on the photo paper, flipping along regular paper. We add the shorter paper, regular paper, all of this short. I added 2 short just for contrast as well, 3 short as a matter of fact. And then the last page, or the inner page, is going to be a shorter page in the center, just to give it that difference in look. And now we're going to put the signature together. So we're going to bind it. So for my binding, I use twine. You can use twine, thread, unwaxed thread, embroidery thread, something sturdy, but not too harsh that it tears your paper. And this is the reason why we put photo paper in the center and photo paper at the end. So I always use a no-sew binding method. And you've seen me do this many times before. Just poke 2 holes. First, line up your signature however you want it. Poke 2 holes to the center. You don't have to be big holes. You can use an awl tool for this. I'm using a sharp pointed scissors because it's a scissors you use for detailing, because I think it does a good enough job. Take your time while poking the holes. You don't want to tear the pages. Then poke the other hole. Now, don't worry too much about the string or thread or twine or whatever you use, because later on in later videos, I'll show you a nice pretty way to cover them. So this is the twine that I've used. Remember, we're trying to do things cheap. Junk journal can be very expensive. Scrapbooking, paper, twine, fabrics, any of these things can be really expensive. And we're going to do it in a cost-effective manner, whether you're using it for a hobby or to sell or commercial purposes, etc. Upcycle, recycle, save paper, save trees. So for the twine, to the edges here, I've just taken a piece of glue just to harden it so it's easier to go into our signature. You can use any other type. So first, we're going to use the outside cover, which is the photo paper, and take one end, pass it through, and sometimes it can give a little trouble to go in, like in this case, because I probably didn't harden it enough. But if you are having any trouble putting the twine through, in this case I've used twine. In this case, I'm using this scissors. It's a detailing scissors, and I think it works quite well. And just let it assist you in pulling it through. Now for the other end, do the same. And just pull it through. Now follow along. Now follow along the same process to pull the twine or thread or embroidery, whatever you use, through the signature. So this is another extra step that I do. Just use any regular glue and place it to the twine or thread or whatever you use, lace, fabric, and press it down, stick it down. So in the process of making my signature, I forgot to put my centerpiece. So I'm just going to add some glue. This way I'll show you how you add in the centerpiece. It's pretty easy. In this case, I'm just using glue because the rest is attached together. Line it up. Put it all along the twine. So it serves in the back of the lining as a spine. and just press it down to seal it down. So firstly, we're going to use a regular envelope, and envelope do come in different sizes. So let me tell you the size of this one. The size of this one, it's 12 inches by length and 9 inches by height. So we place our envelope like this, and we're going to fold it. Fold it directly across this way, just a tad bit, like maybe about 2 mm from the crease. Use your bone folder to crease it down. So I'm just going to measure and tell you how much we folded across. We folded off 5.8 inches. And for our next step, we're going to use book pages to cover the envelope. Just regular, any old book pages will work. We're going to cover them over anyways. So this is how I did mine. Firstly, take a book page, measure till the end, fold it over, and then we're going to cut 2 book pages at a time just to save space, one for this side and one for the other side. Now that the page is cut, we're going to stick it to the envelope. We're going to use regular glue stick. Any glue will work. I'm just using glue stick just so I can quickly get this video. And it does not matter what type of page you use. You don't want to use a good cream pages that you have. Or just colored pages is going to be fine, because we're going to cover this. On the other side, which is here, flip this over because we want to cut along here. So we're going to draw a template and measure it. I know you can't see it on camera, but we're just going to measure where the envelope edge is, so we can get it curved. And then cut it. So this is what I've drawn out here. This is the curve for the envelope inside, so we're going to cut it. And now second piece is going to look like this. Same procedure. We're going to apply a glue stick. And this is going to be covered with pretty fabric and pretty decoration. It's going to look really pretty when we're finished. Stick it on. And follow the same procedure for the entire envelope. Cut here, and stick it. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do this piece here. Now we're going to stick the other 2 sides. So while we craft, I just want to tell you a bit of my channel. And now we're going to stick the other side. And while we craft, I just want to tell you a bit about my channel. I have a passion for junk journals using upcycled materials, paper, and fabric. We want to save all our trees. And I am going to show you how to make junk journals from start to finish and how to decorate them. On this channel envelope, this part, the flap, and measure it on the book page. Use it as a template. Now use 2 book pages and cut them for the inside and the outside. I had to do a tad bit of trimming, just a tad bit, just to get it to fit. Now you can remove this sticky part, add more glue, stick it down, flip the other side. And for the next part, I've taken book page and folded it 3 times just to get some reinforcement, and we're going to use this to reinforce the spine area or for our journal. Flip it around. I've already glued it down just to save time. And stick it down. Now make sure you get it firmly down because we're going to cover it with fabric. We want to reduce any bulk that there may be. We are going to glue a piece of fabric to our envelope. I chose this pretty pastel pink. Ensure it's thick because you don't want the glue to go through or to seep through that. You don't want the glue to seep through. Place the envelope and we are going to use the Fabitac glue. Fabitac works well for fabric. Place along the edges.
Like if he was forced to go to work taxi.
And stick it down. Pull it a bit because you don't want it to be too loose. I use the bone folder to aid in this process. Do the same for all the other corners. Fabitac glue. And for the edge of the corner, you want to tuck it down with the bone folder. Get it down really neat. And just fold it over. Ensure the corners are tucked. You can fold it in and tuck it down. Remember to push down the edges to give it that nice neat corner. If it's a stretchy material, like in this case, I have used a material with a bit of stretch, just pull it tightly because we want our journal to be bonded tightly. And the bone folder works really well in straightening the edges or getting a straight edge or pulling it. It gives that nice crisp hole, as I've always said in my previous videos. Now when we reach the end here, because it's a curved corner, we have to chip it a bit. Don't come too close to the end because we don't want the envelope to show. Do the same for the other end. To glue around the corner, around the edges or the curved corner, make tiny snips. Tiny snips, do not come close to the edge because we don't want the paper to show. And stick down each piece individually, taking your time because we want a neat finish like this. Each piece individually. Put it to conform to the shape of the envelope. Snip further along if you need to. Press it down with the bone folder, neaten the corners. We don't want to create a bulk. And check ever so often. Check the outside to make sure it's neat. Use your bone folder to help round back the corner of the envelope. Of course, the option is also available for those of you who have for those of you who can sew and wish to sew it on, you can do so as well. I don't have a sewing machine. I don't know how to sew, so I just resort to this. Take your time. Stick it down as necessary. Snip further in if you need to, but just not too close to the edge. And it's okay if it looks bulky and untidy because we are going to cover it and make it look really pretty. No one would even know. Press it down with the bone folder to reduce any bulk. Chip off as necessary. Reinforce the spine of our fabric cover. It's a soft cover. So I cut a piece of strip off the fabric. It's approximately 1 inch. When you're cutting it just a tad bit, maybe like 2 mm off each edge. And don't worry about the scrap being uneven. It is going to be covered. Of course, for this, you can sew it if you wish. But it's just easier for me to use the Fabri-Tac, the glue, and stick it. If you're using your journal for personal use, then you can just use a Fabitac. However, if you're making journals for commercial use, it will be nice to sew it. It makes it more sturdy, and also that added element of the sewn stitches that is popular with junk journaling. And next we're going to fold again neatly. I just use a long piece of circular roll from some paper packaging, and this is your chance to neaten everything however neat you want it. Flip it over, and to the center, fold it. Flip it over, and to the center we want that envelope fold. So fold it right where the envelope would be for the flap, and flap it over. So we're going to get that neat fold. And over here, we're just going to round it a bit, just to get that shape. And then we're going to put our signatures in. Our signatures are going to be no sew. I'm going to come back and show you how to do that. So this is the base for our upcycled, and this is the base for our upcycled envelope. For the vintage button, it's just a button I got at a shop, and I've attached a piece of cluster to the back. So we're just going to fold over our journal and average the center, or wherever you wish to place your enclosure, and sew this down. We are going to cover this with some pretty printables. We are going to cover it with pretty paper so it doesn't show. And I have added a piece of craft tape over the thread. It's stuck to the fabric, craft tape, and we are also going to layer this, so it's also going to be covered and reinforced. And now we're going to attach this signature to our journal. So take your first signature, and I did mention this before, but to the back of the signature where you attach your twine or thread or elastic or whatever you use, glue it down. So just close in. Make sure it's in the center. And for this, I'm going to use a piece of elastic lace. It's a piece of lace, but it has a little bit of stretch to it. Remember I told you we will cover it with something pretty? See? No one even knows. Take the Fabitac glue. Apply it on your elastic. And it's also good to use an elastic, apply it on your lace. And it's also good to use this form of binding for this particular journal, because you see we have a lot of pretty design, and this way we don't cover any of our designs. And also it does add character to our journal. And junk journaling is about that. It's about character. It's about that interactive feel. Then turn it around into the back. Do the same thing. Stick it down. And then we're going to follow through and use the same method for the second signature. Ensure this one closes in. After the two signatures have been binded together with the lace, this one and this one, even though it may seem like it's tight enough, if you think it's tight enough, fine. If not, we're going to go to the center where we have both signature, which is here, and take another piece of lace and run it in right in between, just like what we did before, just for extra reinforcement. Now we're going to cover the inside piece of our journal, and this is the cover that I chose. Again, it's free. If you wish to, just send me an email. If not, the measurement for this is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 for the front, and the back is 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. The back is a bit smaller than the front because of the signatures that we added. So we're using Fabitac for this, and the reason why we're using Fabitac, tape it down, do the same for the other side. Fabitac glue. It doesn't have to be Fabitac glue. It can be any fabric glue that you have. I just use a Fabitac because this is what I have. Again, we don't want to do anything on the expensive side. We just want to go as minimalistic, as cheaply as possible. Okay, so we're going to come back and do this piece. Now we're going to cover the flap, and this is how I did it. Take a piece of pink cardstock, place it under the flap, and draw around it. After drawing around the flap, cut it maybe about 3 mm inside, smaller than the flap. Then attach a piece of lace or any fabric that you have over the flap. You want to attach it first and then cut it. And then you want to cut around because you want this to be neat as possible. So you can imagine the huge stack of lace that I have because I use my lace so much, so often. Maybe in a future video I will do a lace reveal and show you my lace stack. And lace can be pretty expensive. Apart from being expensive, I find it very hard to get lace or to get a variety of lace. Especially those olden Victorian laces. They're really expensive, and even so you can't even find them. But thanks to junk journaling, we have lots of persons who have kept their lace from back in the 1950s, 40s, 60s, passed on. So I'm sure there's individuals out there with huge stacks of lace. And just neaten around. And stick it on here with the Fabitac glue. When you're layering this and using the Fabitac glue in particular, ensure that you have it around the edges because you really want to seal in those edges to ensure that your journal, it is a junk journal, but even though it's a junk journal, you do want it to look nice, presentable, especially if you're gifting it or keeping it for the future or selling it. Or so just take your time and neaten it. It is a hobby. It is a relaxing, entertaining, exciting hobby. I do find there's a little bit of an edge here, so I'm going to come back and fix that with a piece of lace. This is a tiny strip that I'm speaking about. It's barely visible, but we want our work to look neat, so I cut out a piece of gold ribbon, and I'm going to also use this gold ribbon in front of our journal cover. I say our because I enjoy having you here. And if you have not subscribed as yet, please subscribe. I would love to have you. And remember to send me an email, join my subscriber list. All printables are free. So just attach a piece of gold ribbon. Use your bone folder. And that adds to our finished look. So this is our journal so far. I love it. Hope you do too. To complete the spine, we're going to use a piece of lace, beautiful white lace. Place some fabric tack to the edge. Spread it around with your bone folder or pen, anything you have at hand. Flip it around to the back to the spine, and we're going to place it to the edge of this other lace, like this. Stick it down, turn it over on front, and stick these edges. And you really want to get the fabric tack in the edges, like I told you before, because you really want it to stick down the edges of your lace, so there's no movement, because this is a permanent journal. This is what you're going to keep for yourself, in your stack, giveaway style. I have a huge stack of junk journals. Bring it around to the front. And tape it down. You see what I mean? But you could do anything with lace. Look how beautiful it looks. We're going to complete the cover for our journal. Just a reminder, all the printables are free. Send me an email if you're interested, and please subscribe. So for the cover, this is the cover that I've designed, and I did this off air. To the back of it, I've attached it's a bit of a bronze mesh, and it matches really nicely with the image. It's like a cover topper for our journal, and now we're going to attach it to the fabric. Use fabric tack. Place it on the edge, and I do hope that you have enjoyed this video so far as we are coming to the end, and I hope it would have added value to your journaling journey. Place it to the center. And I've added 3 tiny charms to the cover. And I've used a piece of lace and added a gold ribbon. And then you just bring this one around, wrap it around twice. Bring the other one around, do the same, wrap it around twice. And that is our closure.